using for the deployment. So as you know that we'll be using the FortiGate as an initiator and NSE3000 would be as a responder, right? And the subnet behind the FortiGate is 192.168.1.0/24, and the subnet behind the responder NSE3000 is 192.168.10.0/24. So the IP address of the initiator and responder, right? We will first begin configuration of the NSE3000, and then we'll go ahead and demonstrate how do we set up the IPsec tunnel on the FortiGate. Okay, so let's get started. So this is the NSE3000 on which we'll be adding an IPsec tunnel. Okay, so we go to the NSE group, we go to the VPN, and then we click on add new. We just give a tunnel name, tunnel to 40K2. We'll keep the IPsec tunnel mode as responder. The remote ID would be FortiGate NSE52. 52 is the IP of the NSE. Local would be NSE3052. Local subnet will be 192.168.10.0/24. You can add multiple tunnels, but for the sake of simplicity, we'll just add one. Remote 192.168.1.0 SK. We'll keep the encryption as AES256, and we'll remove the other one. Okay, but the authentication will be SHA-256, DH group will be 15. Similarly, for the phase 2, also we'll keep the encryption as AES256, in authentication as to SHA-256 and DH group. All right, that completes our configuration on the NSE3000. Now we'll just go ahead and add the tunnel. Make sure that the configuration is in sync. All right, it got synced. Let's view the configuration and just drop down to tunnel to FortiGate. IK version is V2. Remote ID is FortiGate NSE52. Local ID is NSE3052. Local and remote subnet PSKs. Phase 1 encryption, authentication DH group. Phase 2. Okay, all things looks good here. So let's go ahead and add the tunnel on the FortiGate. So in case of FortiGate, the configuration of the IPsec tunnel is in 3 parts. So one is the configuration of phase 1 and phase 2 parameters. Then we need to go ahead and add the routes, because by default it will not route the tunnel, the IPsec traffic on the tunnel, right? And then thirdly, we have to also go and add firewall flows so that the interesting traffic on the IPsec tunnel is allowed, right? So we'll go ahead step by step and do the configuration. All right. So once you log into the FortiGate, you need to go to VPN section, click on IPsec tunnels, and then click on create IPsec tunnel. We'll select custom, say tunnel to NSE52. This is the IP address. Okay. Tunnel, we'll just give a description, tunnel to NSE3000. Here we'll give the IP address of the peer, which is 10.110.200.52. Interface will be WAN 1. So this is the interface over which the IPsec tunnel will get established. All right, all these things we will keep it as default, and then we'll go ahead and add the authentication pre-shared key, which is 3. We'll select the IK version as IKV. Encryption we will select AES256. Authentication SHA. We'll remove the rest of the one, and then encryption AES256, and authentication is SHA-256. DH group will select 15. Here we will select the remote string that we gave here, So this is the string that we gave as the remote ID. We'll just copy paste. Make sure that it is string, because what we observed that if we give the local ID as IP address, then it fails to establish the tunnel. So the string method works. Okay. Then we go ahead and define the phase2 parameters. The phase2 parameters in defining the local and remote address. So we will define the local address behind the FortiGate is 1.0. So 192.168.1.0/24, and the remote address would be 192.168.10.0. Click on advanced, then define the encryption as AES. Let's delete the rest of stuff. AES256, authentication is SHA1, select DH code 15. Alright, that's all is required. Now we'll save this configuration. We see that tunnel NSE52 is still down. We still have some more configurations to do. So the next thing that we'll be doing is going ahead and adding the route to route the traffic from 1.0 subnet over the tunnel. So we go to static routes, create a new route. Then we define the remote subnet here. So we say traffic to 192.168.10.0/24. My interface would be tunnel interface. Okay, so that will add the route. The next step would be to add the policies, firewall policies. So we go to policies and objects. We go to the firewall policy, and then we create a new policy. We give the say that can from for to NSE 52. Okay, the interface, the incoming interface will be internal. The outgoing interface will be the tunnel interface, right? So it basically defines what will be my, from which source subnet my traffic will be coming. That is my internal interface, which is 192.168.1.0. Outgoing interface would be the tunnel interface. Then here for the source, I select all. Destination, I select all. And then services, I select all. And then I close this. I disable the NAT translation for this one. Then I go ahead and save this traffic. Additionally, I also have to add a reverse firewall rule to allow the traffic coming from the NSE towards the FortiGate. So I'll go ahead and add one more tunnel. I will say NSE52 to FortiGate. My incoming interface will be tunnel. My outgoing interface will be internal. Source, I say destination, I say, and then services also I say, and then I go ahead and disable the NAT translation for this interesting traffic. That completes my configuration on the FortiGate. Now next step is we'll go ahead and trigger the tunnel. So we go to IPsec tunnels. Alright, we already see that the tunnel has got established here. It shows green and it's up and running, right? So we'll also see the tunnel status. If you see this here, tunnel name and the status as up, that means the tunnel is established, right? Now we'll go ahead and check the reachability to the subnet, which is behind. So we have a IP address 192.168.1.99, which is behind FortiGate. We'll try to ping from the NSE to see whether we have reachability to that IP address. So let's go ahead and do that. So we can also verify the status here. Give it some time. It takes almost like 5 minutes to update the cloud. So we check the reachability to 192.168.1.99. we have the reachability, so that means the tunnel is up, right? Otherwise we would not be able to reach to that subnet because it is across a different device, right? Let's just check whether we have the tunnel established. Yeah, so we got the update from the device. The tunnel is established to FortiGate. Phase 1 is installed, phase 2 is installed. To test this tags will update in 1 or 2 minutes. So we have the reachability and the tunnel is fully operational. We also can see the events. So in the events, we can see the tunnel to FortiGate is established, right? All right. So that completes our training video. So here you saw that the NSE was operating in the responder and the FortiGate was operating in the initiator. I will go ahead and create one more video which will demonstrate how do we configure the FortiGate in a responder mode and then NSE in the initiator mode. All right. So this concludes this video regarding the responder mode. I will create one more video. Thank you for watching this video.